This video is simply full-blown instructions on how to use the brand new IQ5 Cookshack controller. So this controller is on all of our commercial smokers, and this video is going to just walk through the basics of how to set the controller. We start by simply turning the master on-off switch to on. It'll take a few minutes for the controller to boot up, and you'll slowly see the lights come on. It'll tell you what software is in the unit, and then it's ready to start programming. We'll then set the smoke, cook, and hold temperature, along with, if we're using a meat probe, we can select the meat probe that we're going to cook to. So first we're going to start by just doing a cook timed cycle. So we're going to start by setting the smoke time to whatever we would like for that to be. Anywhere from 0 to 12 hours, you can set the smoke time. If you decide that you don't want to have that 3-stage cooking, you can simply set the smoke temperature or time to 0, and it will skip that cycle. If you set time on this, then it's going to ask you for the temperature that you want to set it at, and you simply set that temperature anywhere from 140 degrees to 300. Each time that you cycle through any of the things, you have to push the OK button. Next we go to the cooking mode, and we set the cook time that we want to cook for. We hit OK, and we go to the temperature we want to cook at, and we can adjust that and then push OK. We then go to the hold feature, and we can set the hold temperature then anywhere in that same cycle, and we press OK. At this point we're ready to cook, and we simply press the start button. It will now tell you what the oven temperature is and how long that we have left to cook. So we're in the smoke mode right now, and we're going to be in that for the next 3 minutes. At the end of that 3 minutes, a buzzer will go off, and it will advance to the cook cycle. If you want to stop those cycles, the easiest thing to do is just push the off button. Turns the unit off. We'll now turn it back on, and we're going to now set for if we want to cook with a meat probe. So you simply open up the meat probe, attach your meat probe. The meat probe then can go through the vent hole and into the meat. You push the probe button, and it's going to tell you that you can either have a cook mode of timer, or you can have the probe mode. So we're going to go to the probe mode. However, let's just look at this for a moment. If we stay in the timer mode and we say OK and we press start now, it's now going to tell us both the oven temp and the meat probe temp. And so it will give us both of those readings, and we're recording both of those. So as long as we have a meat probe plugged in, it will record both. We'll now go back and we'll set it to cook. We're going to set it to cook in the probe mode, so we'll say OK. It's going to ask us what temperature do we want to cook that meat to. So here we have it set for 195 degrees, which means that when the meat reaches 195, it will drop into hold. And we'll say OK. You can have a smoke mode first if you want to. And so if you wanted to cook for a bit of time to really get some smoke flavor into the meat at, say, a low temperature, you could do that. And get some smoke flavor into that meat before you then finish with the cooking cycle, which it doesn't give you the option of time now because we're cooking to the temperature of the probe. But we set the temperature that we want to cook at, and once again we hit OK, and then we set the holding temperature that we want, press OK, and we hit start. And now it's going to tell us what the oven temp is, the meat probe temperature, and it tells us we're in the smoke mode right now, and we have 3 minutes remaining. Once we get through that, it's going to tell us that we're in the probe mode. It'll tell us the oven temp and the probe temperature. We also have on the IQ5 controller, we have 8 presets that you can set up. They come factory set, and you can look in your manual and see what each one of those settings are. But if you want to change one of those, we can go to our custom program number 1, and we can see here that we're in the smoke mode of 4 hours at 180 degrees. We have a cook mode of 10 hours at 225, and we have a hold at 140. So let's say that we want to adjust the smoke time down to 2 hours. We're going to stay at the 180. Now if we want to save that as custom setting 1, we simply push and hold 1 until it says saved. And now that program is saved for the 2 hours of the smoke mode. And you can change all of these anytime that you want simply by doing that. If we have been cooking for a while now and we want to check what our USB data is, we're recording every cook that we cook in it. We simply plug in a USB thumb drive and we push the USB data. And it now tells us that it's writing a file, so it's going to write that data off to the thumb drive. When it gets through doing that, it's going to ask us if we want to delete the data. So it now says the file is saved. We're going to say okay. Do you want to clear the log? Our recommendation is that you always clear the log. That way you don't have a ton of data in there. So we're going to say yes, we want to clear the log. And now we're cleared and our USB data is stored on our thumb drive. You can then take and put that into an Excel spreadsheet and keep that for your HACCP plan. You can simply then remove the thumb drive, cover back up our drive, and we're ready to begin cooking again. That's the basics of the IQ5 control system by Cookshack. If you'd like more information about Cookshack, give us a call at 1-800-423-0698 or visit us on the web at www.cookshack.com.